The following is an actual statement released by Ron DeSantis, candidate for president, on Facebook. First, we broke Twitter with the excitement from our campaign launch, literally. Then, we broke the record for the most raised for any first-time candidate in 24 hours in the history of presidential politics at $8.2 million. Now, we're ready to break Washington and start the Great American Comeback. Shut up! Yes, we've got more DeSantis news. Christie is about to jump in. That's literally going to be a cannonball. And, of course, we've got a debt ceiling update, and we are on the eve of Sodom and Gomorrah month. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure that you are a subscriber. Even if you have subscribed in the past, every once in a while you need to check that subscription status. Once in a while, YouTube likes to help me do what they think is a little bit of a spring cleaning, and they just sort of, some of my subscribers just kind of go away, and I've had people tell me, I didn't unsubscribe. No, YouTube did it for you. So make sure you're still subscribed. Once you've subscribed, make sure that you smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of all of my rants, because I rant here every day about pop culture and politics. And then please like and share these videos. That's how we get the word out that we're here and we build up our algorithm. All right, it's rant time. I want to begin today by officially welcoming the DeSantis Trolls to our page. Yes, I'm being trolled by a couple of DeSantis supporters on here. Not with the same veracity that I used to get loved on by the Yang Gang back in the days. You know, when the early part of the 2020 election, it was kind of fun. I mean, Joe Biden, it wasn't just about him campaigning ineptly from his basement, but, there were some interesting people in the mix. And one of them was Andrew Yang. And anytime I talked about his policy proposals and how insanely ludicrous they were, the Yang Gang would come out of nowhere and just jump all over me. So we created, of course, the Yang Gang song.
The Amazing Yang! The Amazing Yang and the Yang Gang! The Amazing Yang!
Ah, yes, another golden oldie right here on the Afternoon Drive. The Yang Gang. Or I should say, the Amazing Yang. I'll work on one for Deep State DeSantis. But at any rate, DeSantis is out there trying to hit that Donald Trump has shifted to the left. This is now what I'm being trolled about. Donald Trump sold us out. He's on the left. And you've got, this is going to be the DeSantis attack line. He thinks this is what's going to, carry him through, and he's going to get the MAGA crowd away from Donald Trump by claiming that Trump has moved left. When we were listening in 2016 to Hillary Rodham Clinton and the rest of the Democrats talk about Donald Trump being in collusion with Russians, that he was filtering foreign money into his campaign. Who was it that filtered foreign money into their campaign? Well, it was Hillary Rodham Clinton through the Clinton Foundation, which was like a personal ATM for Bill and Hillary, selling influence. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, criminally filtering money from Ukraine, from China. Beijing Biden bought and paid for. And, everything the left accuses the right of, it's projection because they're guilty of it. So when Ron DeSantis starts trying to insinuate that Donald Trump is moving to the left, No, that's a Freudian slip that he's letting you know that if he were to somehow procure the GOP nomination, I'm telling you, he's going to move left faster than Mitt Romney. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ron DeSantis is deep state Ron, and I'm already on the record going into all of that and talking about his track record of torture and defending torturers when he was part of JAG. And if you don't understand that the deep state has stuff on him, and he will stay within the lines and the lane that they give him to operate. They've let him have some success in Florida because that's the Trojan horse operation of this whole thing. Talking about, we're going to make America Florida. Really? You're going to bring all of us all that endless sunshine and beaches? That I would be for. But, initially on there, Gov, you were locking your state down right along with every other governor. And I know I sound like a broken record on this. It was not until you arrested a pastor for having a church service that your people grabbed a hold of you and said, this doesn't look good on television. A pastor being arrested and led out of his own church with handcuffs. You want the Christian right vote. You want the conservative traditional support. Don't arrest pastors for having church. And you started rolling things back in Florida, not out of conviction, not because you wanted to. You were made to for political expediency. Bump, ba-dum-bump. There's nothing more complicated to it than that. And your so-called winning record, you wouldn't even be a governor had Donald Trump not rescued your first campaign. So, don't start taking these victory laps that you're a big winner. First of all, what are you, like 5'9"? And that tinny, hollow, nasally voice of yours, I can talk tough about Mickey Mouse and we're not going to let China, buy land in Florida. And all this phony bravado that you have. Come on, trolls, come at me. You are deep state DeSantis. You are a Trojan horse operation, period. And you know what? Christie is coming for you. That's right. Carvel's Fudgy the Whale is getting in. Supposedly this is all going to happen, I guess, next Tuesday. And, he's going to officially throw his hat in the ring. There's so much I can do with this. And I know, you're saying, Pastor Marty, you're a pastor. You shouldn't talk this way about Christie. Look, one big guy can talk about another big guy. It's all okay. And Christie claims to be a big boy, and he wants to be a Tony Soprano knockoff, both from Jersey. They're tough. He can take it. Christie is ticked off that on a couple of fronts. This is nothing more than a snark campaign. He's mad that he took out Marco Rubio and Donald Trump didn't reward him with a job, a cabinet post, or, something high profile within the Trump administration. Trump gave him nothing, and he's ripped about that. And now he's ripped that Ron DeSantis is, a Republican governor that, is, I guess you would say, the number two man among what we would call the conservatives within the Republican Party. And it's not Christie. And I think he is ripping at Trump. He is ripping at DeSantis. And all he is going to do is come out and expose himself for the fiscal conservative, socially liberal, rhino that he actually always has been. And you know what? You want to grift so that you can write a book that they wouldn't let the fat man run, or whatever it is you're going to call this book, whatever. Christie throwing his hat in the ring. It'll be entertaining. It's entertaining to watch now that it's obvious that DeSantis and the people he's colluding with, what they're going to try to do is paint Trump as the liberal, and he's the true conservative. And yeah, we'll see how that works. Remember, Ted Cruz went down this road, and how'd that work out for Ted? Yeah. I am hearing it from all sides about Kevin McCarthy and the debt ceiling. And there is a reason, and I alluded a little bit to this yesterday, why I didn't really cover the debt ceiling. At the end of the day, uh, they're going to kick the can and not deal with what needs to be dealt with regarding the debt ceiling. I heard, you've got conservatives like Rand Paul and the Freedom Caucus. They hate this deal. You have other Republicans like Rick Santorum, love this deal. They talk about the far-reaching insight of Kevin McCarthy. You've got Bill O'Reilly talking about, Kevin McCarthy's playing the long game. That he has to do some give in now to get this thing passed, because if it fails, the Republicans will take the heat by the media, and he's got to get something passed so that this can't be an issue for the Democrats in the election cycle. And then they can take over Congress, and then they can fix the problem. How many times have we heard that? See, this is where establishment Republicans and establishment Democrats govern exactly the same way. They want to spend money. The only difference is Democrats spend money on different things than Republicans, but they both want to spend money. They're not addressing the issues. They're not fixing anything. They're just kicking the can. And there's no point in exhausting a lot of breath and energy over this, because they're going to do it with or without our support. We don't get a say or a vote on any of this until it's the actual election season. And by then, everybody's forgotten about the debt ceiling deals because we're too busy dealing with the fact we can't afford gas. We're dealing with inflation. We can't afford groceries. We've got illegals by the millions pouring over our southern border. And we've got drag queens coming for our kids. So there's so many other things on the mind of the American voter that by the time that he actually gets in the voting booth, remembering which senators and which congresspeople went along with the debt ceiling grift scam is just not on the radar. That's the reason I don't cover it. But it is almost June, boys and girls, and you know what that means. In 24 hours or less, depending on when you see this, it will be Sodom and Gomorrah month. It is the month that we're to take pride. Are we taking pride in great Americans and what they achieved, what they invented, the diseases they cured, the technologies they have advanced? Are we celebrating with pride their accomplishments in the preservation of our freedom, of our American way of life, of our democratic republic? What is it that we are supposed to be taking pride in for an entire month? Not just a day, not just a weekend, but an entire month set aside and dedicated to take pride in who people are engaging in sexual activity with. That's Pride Month. We're supposed to celebrate two dudes or two women, and that's supposed to be, quote unquote, pride. Now, I have to be careful what I say here, otherwise YouTube will step in, and you know what will happen if... Yup, that. I hate to cloud the issue with facts here, even for some of you on the conservative side that say, you know what two people engage in, et cetera, et cetera. I am a Christian. The Word of God says what it says about this type of behavior, this type of lifestyle, and the fact that we are celebrating for an entire month who somebody chooses to go to bed with. And then we wonder why this has gotten out of control to where drag queens are twerking in front of elementary students, why department stores are flagrantly now sticking this merchandise in the face of kids and marketing it to them. You now have Dylan Mulvaney, who's decided they want to date girls now. I'm almost wondering, Now, think with me on this. Let's just have a little fun here. Is Dylan at some point going to out himself as the ultimate troll? Literally, he's Borat. Is he going to out himself as the ultimate troll? That at some point he comes on TikTok, he's based up his voice, he's got a good 5 o'clock shadow going, saying, I'm a guy, I'm straight, you fell for it. Bump, ba-dum, bump. Bump, ba-dum, bump, bump. I'm just saying. Because we are hearing reports from certain members of the LGBTQA1 plus, whatever it is they call themselves this week. Who can even keep up with it? They're not upset that Dylan Mulvaney has not had certain transformational surgeries, for the addition and removal of, certain appendages. But they don't understand, because it's usually the first surgery that those engaging in transitioning have is facial hair laser surgery to remove facial hair. That it's relatively easy, financially inexpensive, and Dylan hasn't done that, which means Dylan still shaves his face. Hey, maybe he can do a Gillette commercial on how women ought to shave. What if he outs himself as the ultimate troll? What if he just looks at the liberal left when this is all over and just laughs at them, saying, you fell for it. You absolutely destroyed your own credibility that you have spent nearly 40 years building up with the feminist movement, defending women and women's rights issues, and you threw it all out the window so that a guy could tell you he's a girl, so he could play sports and have women's jobs and even take the female scholarships for sports and colleges. Wouldn't that be great? Come on. You got to admit, wouldn't that be just stinking hilarious? But Sodom and Gomorrah month approacheth. And again, I'm not going to sit here and denigrate a group of people that I have to be careful, because even if I try to compassionately say, need help, I can get in trouble. There's nothing. Fine. But we're literally setting an entire month aside based on somebody's sexual appetite and behavior. And when we start to normalize underage attraction, will they get a month too? I'm just asking. Just kind of wondering out loud.